I would like to introduce you to Stateleville, one of the smallest towns in rural South Africa, in the middle of the Karoo region. The Karoo is known for being one of the hottest and driest areas in South Africa. And this is where we have now come to stay. As a family, when we decided to become medical missionaries, we knew that there are opportunities abroad, in Ethiopia, in the poor regions in Africa, in various regions in other countries, but we also knew that medical missionaries have work to do no matter where they are. And our aim was to find some of the rural towns in South Africa where healthcare is not so easily available, where we can teach people about healthy living. Why? Because we believe that the Bible is full of health principles that are accessible to people even when they cannot access hospitals or doctors. And God is wanting to teach people the health principles to protect their lives and to ensure that they can have a good quality of life no matter what their economic status is or where they happen to find themselves, even far away from resources like where we are now. Our nearest hospital is 80 kilometers away, and we're surrounded by very, very dry veld area. We're actually in the peak of the rain season for Stateleville, and this is the greenest we've seen it since we've been here for nearly a year now. This region has taught me an incredible lesson. I have learned so many important lessons from the dry, just about dead nature around us. And one of those lessons are that the controversy has not yet ended. We're still seeing the final effects, the final play out of what happens when sin is the rule of life. Since we have moved to this region, the drought, the heat, the desolation has been quite prominent, especially coming from regions where we've received lots of rain and where things grow beautifully. But these dry regions are not only prominent because it's in contrast with what we're used to. These dry areas and seeing plants withering and dying away reminds me of that incredible story that we were reviewing in our previous episodes, the story of creation, the story of how God created things perfectly, with everything that was beautiful and green and lovely, with an abundance of animal, bird and sea, water life, everything that was pleasing to the eye, because God himself said it was good. And when he created man, he said it was very good. Today I was confronted yet again with the result of disease, of violence, and how badly things can go wrong so quickly. And the picture is just so different from what God had originally described at creation when he said it was good and very good. We cannot deny that in all of our minds these questions continue coming up. We keep asking ourselves, how did it get to this? Today I would like to introduce you or highlight a point that is made very clearly in the book of Genesis, a point that will essentially put us on a direction, on a pathway of discovering further health information and further health treasures from the Bible. One of the key things that we read from the account in Genesis is not just the account of God creating this world, but what happened at the fall. When Adam and Eve gave in to the temptation to mistrust God, things started changing. When they gave ear to the false accusations, when Satan presented to them a question that made them doubt God, and when they gave their answer and Satan counteracted or counter-answered that by saying, "You will not surely die," he was not only telling a lie, but he was calling God a liar, because he was telling them that what God had said was not true. Now this was a problem in itself, but what really was the problem is that he was tempting them to go along with that. He was tempting them to misbelieve God, to mistrust God, and to believe that God is in fact a liar. Adam and Eve did not eat of the fruit that God had forbidden because they were hungry. They ate because they believed the lie that through disobedience they would achieve something that God was withholding from them. They ate the fruit because they believed the lie that God was a liar. At that very point, things changed. In fact, it was the very first account that we read of disease. You see, when God then approached them and he asked them, "Where are you?" we hear the voice of a loving Creator who is reaching out to them, who is not asking them because he didn't know, but who is presenting an invitation to them. "Adam, where are you?" Trying to invite them back to his presence. And when he spoke to them and noticed that they had made clothing from the fig leaves, God approached them in mercy, in kindness, recognizing that they had started experiencing disease. You see, he asked them where they are to elicit their response, and their response reveals that they were experiencing the first accounts of disease. Adam and Eve responded by saying, "We were afraid and we hid ourselves." Fear, anxiety, worry, concern, stress, those panicked feelings do not stem from no reason. Those feelings of panic came from the knowledge that they had something separating them from their Creator. Today, we experience the same thing. Our feelings of anxiety and panic come from various sources and for various reasons, but the very root cause of all disease comes from a separation between us and our Creator. This, my friends, is the reason why we see the desolation around us. The choices of human beings that separate them from their Creator has not only led to their actions which destroy the environment around us, but to actions that destroy them from the inside out. Living in disobedience, living in mistrust of our Creator, is soul-destroying. As we continue our videos, we will continue walking a journey through the Bible, looking at the health principles that God has made, that He has continued through the ages to urge His people to follow. And I hope that these videos will inspire us, not just to hear the words that God has mentioned or that He had spoken, but to draw back to His instructions, to come back into obedience with His instructions, because they are the only way that we can come back into harmony with our Creator. And this is the only way we can find true healing.